Yo, everyday superpower. We talk body language, relationship, game, everything in between. I'm going to give you some powerful information here. One that you won't forget and shouldn't forget because this is going to hopefully change the tangent of your entire life, right? We're going to go into depth on this one. So you hold on. This one's going to work as far as you attracting people, being more attractive, generally speaking, you getting the job you've always wanted, you influencing the people you want to influence in the right ways. All right, here we go. This is one of the most powerful nonverbal tools that you won't get taught in education. They'll teach you how to go to work and tick the boxes so you can be sufficient within the machine, but they won't teach you these nonverbal behaviors, where they stem from and how they influence people, because it's too powerful information, right? And you'll be able to get what you want essentially. So these are two hands. These hands are exposing their palms, their open palm gestures, right? When you're speaking to someone, if you want something of someone, you expose your open palm. If you're speaking to a woman you like, you expose your palm, right? If you're in a job interview, you've met this people for the first time, you're trying to sell yourself best, you have your palms exposed. Yes, yes, and we're going into detail. They're not going to teach you this elsewhere. I'm telling you, they're not going to teach you this elsewhere. Right, let's get to basics, right? I don't know if you subscribe to evolutionary biology at all. And I don't care whether you do or don't, because the point still stands. But to give you some background, yeah, as far as how I learned this, yeah, and we'll talk into other ways where it links into actual human behavior as opposed to animalistic behavior, so it'll tick all boxes. We used to walk on all fours, and then we started to walk upright, bipedal, right, on our legs. At that moment, our hands became weapons. Yes, our hands became weapons. From that moment, our brain started to develop very fast, right? Darwinism. Our brain started to evolve in order to pay more attention to the hands, because our hands became deadly weapons, whether it be just through fists and gripping or through wielding weaponry, right? Our hands became deadly weapons. We did not need to rely on them to walk upon the floor. We now had them free. So our survival mechanism is like, wait a minute, this is going to be a problem. We need to pay attention to these. So inside you, inside the job interview, and inside that beautiful woman you're trying to get in the pants of, right? That beautiful man you're trying to get in the pants of, yeah, there's a part of their brain that is subconsciously paying attention to your hands. Yeah, real talk, real talk. This is why good public speakers are so illustrative and use what they call as illustrators when they're speaking. Yes, 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 yes. It's because it's almost mesmerizing in a way. You're paying unconscious attention to the hands, whereas they're speaking the message, and that message is going to infiltrate your brain better because your conscious awareness is going to be bouncing between the two, right? So what happens is when you expose the hands, well, let's continue onwards. You started walking upright. Your brain started to develop this awareness now, this underlying process of paying attention to the hands and what they're doing to ensure they're safe and sound. So, if you take this into consideration, if you emphasize the fact that your hands are free from weaponry, if you emphasize the fact your hands are on show and not hiding away, you will, in effect, create a calmness, a stability, a bond, and bring down the resistance of that individual you are communicating with. Whereas that person will never ever fully trust you, never feel comfortable around you outside of their own awareness. They're not consciously going to think, oh, I can't see his hands, I feel uncomfortable. No, they're just going to think there's something odd about that person. I don't want to give the job to that person because I don't trust them. There's something up with that person. No, I don't want to go on a date with that man because there's something shady about that man. I don't trust him, right? That's going to be going on through their unconscious awareness because they can't see the palms of your hands. Yeah? In Roman times, the handshake, it might have got an earlier history, but we tend to give props to the Romans for this style of handshake. They would come forth, they would shake each other's wrists, and then it went down to the hands, as the years to come. They shook the wrists to ensure there were no bladed articles within the sleeves of each other, right? It was a means of, yes, showing friendliness, but friendliness through the fact that we are friends. You can trust me because I'm not going to stab you with a weapon I've got concealed, right? This is where the handshake derives, yes? So through exposing the hands, you're exposing you've got no weapons. I got approached when I was younger. This stuck with me because this is a fine example of how this affects people. I got approached by a homeless man after an event one night, and it was cold. I had my hands in my pockets because it was cold, right? Not because I was hiding away from the world, not because I was defensive. Quite simply, I didn't want my hands out in the open because my fingers were cold. It was cold weather. It was at the end of the night. Homeless man comes up to me, asks me a few questions. Oh, have you got blah, 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 blah. And I said, no, mate, blah, 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 blah. And he looked at me anxiously and said, oh, have you got a knife in them pockets? I swear to God. Oh, have you got... And I was blown away. I was like, what? But that's because he's fine-tuned to reading body language due to the survival, the depth of, animalistic survival, heavy environment he's in. He's prone to paying attention to the body language of others. He's living on the streets. He's sleeping on streets. He needs to know who he's dealing with and who's in his environment for the sake of his own life. If he's sleeping on them roads and whatnot. He saw me and he connected the idea of me having hands in my pockets with me having potential weaponry, right? This might not be as heavy an emphasis. It might not be brought to the conscious realm in a traumatic sense like it did to this homeless man, but it still exists within the people around you. Yes? When you go to a job interview, when you speak to anyone full stop, well, think about it from your perspective. You're at that job interview. If them people interviewing you have their hands under the table outside of your awareness, indirectly, there is a potential you're going to think, what are you doing under that table? They could be flipping touching themselves under that table. You don't know, but it distracts you from coherent communication because your mind's elsewhere, because you're not interacting and engaging with the whole of that person, right? With the palms come honesty. Yeah? What does somebody do naturally when they say, I didn't do it? You believe them and go, I didn't do it. I didn't touch that. They naturally, unconsciously bring their hands up, expose their palms as a symbol of, I'm not hiding anything. I'm exposing myself to the world. This is an act of submission. And people look at acts of submission as if it's some sort of problem. No, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. It's in your benefit to submit to people half of the time. You don't have to go around the world dominating people. Men in particular, get too caught up in that. That's not the case. You don't make friends and acquaintances and business prospects and all of this by dominating people. You have to bring the barrier of people down. If you want to be in a relationship with someone, she is not going to be in a relationship with you because you threaten her. If you threaten her, it's over. She is but the fairer sex. It's within her survival flipping hardwiring to ensure she's not around men that can harm her to a degree where it's a life or death situation. That's going to be an issue, don't you think? She's going to run away from that. She's going to have unless, I don't know, I guess everyone's different, but generally speaking, across the populace, if you bring her defenses up, she's not going to lie down beside you in bed and tickle your back, basically. So the open palm gesture is important. You wave your hands to people to say, hello, greetings, I'm friendly, it's me. Yeah? They look at your palm and think automatically, oh, this person's friendly, this person's generous. You know what I mean? Open palm gesture is a generous statement as opposed to the clenched fist holding on to what I've got. The clenched fist represents the fist. It's aggressive. Palms down gesture is oppressive. Come on. This is some serious game. If you want to influence people, if you want to get in that lady's pants, if you want to get in that man's pants, if you want to get that job, if you want to get that promotion, speak to people with the open palm. That's some real talk right there. I'm signing out on that. Click like and subscribe. Peace.